Alright, good afternoon, everybody. Hey there, Ramosa. Welcome on in, Hermit. It's good to see you all again. Been quite a few crazy months, but I'm glad to be back. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be streaming super regularly still, but I wanted to drop in for this special convention recap. Also, how's the audio? Everything should be good. The only difference is I am slightly farther from my mic since I don't want to put my wireless keyboard on top of my laptop anymore because I discovered a slight battery leak and I've got a bad feeling it's from the heat of the laptop, so I have to fix that. But other than that, I think the only housekeeping that's left is... Got it. A little low. Let's try that. How's that? Don't want it overpowering my voice. So, only other housekeeping, I mean, this is pretty obvious if you've been with me for a long while, but, yeah. Like I said, 18 plus stream. You don't know what the fuck's gonna come out of my mouth, so, you should be doing your, schoolwork. Get the fuck off this channel and do your schoolwork. Hey there, Nerp. Welcome on in. Yeah, do your schoolwork or I'm gonna give you a stink eye. I still don't know how the fuck I got a bachelor's. But before we get too off topic... Alright. Appreciate the lurk. I wish it was a bachelor's in woofing. Alright. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, I was at a new convention, furry convention in New Jersey this weekend called Furgeddaboutit. Nice pun, nice pun. Yeah. So basically, I'm gonna give a little short background onto why this convention even exists in the first place. I'm not gonna ramble on about it because Lord knows I wrote so many fucking essays to try to explain this to my friends. Yeah, Jersey Italian. Even though I'm only one of those things and not the other. Okay, that was funny timing with that song. Funny timing. Alright, so background story. A few years ago, there was this convention that was established called Garden State for the weekend. And, you know, all the Jersey Furs were like, oh, sweet, we have a convention in this state again ever since Fur Affinity United fucked off to Virginia. Yay! Let's just say the yay was very short-lived because some of the staff and dear friends of mine, they basically discovered that the, owner, whom I'll call Dash Ass, was a fucking Nazi. And you wanna know how they discovered this? Dash Ass was promoting the con on a fucking Furry Raiders podcast. Now, for those of you who are blissfully unaware about the Raiders, let's just say they're a very cringy group that, you know, wants to, oh whoa Zig Heil, if you know what I mean. It's disgusting and cringe, and it goes against everything the fandom's made of. So basically, because of this discovery, there was a lot of shakeups, a lot of people left, and somehow the convention did its first year. And then the convention was going to do a second year, and a lot of people in the state were like, oh, hell no. And we're kind of thinking of doing, like, their own little thing the same weekend to, give GSFTW a good fuck you. I was thinking of doing something with my group, pretty low key. But then December 2024 rolls around, and Furgeddaboutit starts posting a lot of roasts about GSFTW on their socials. And then next thing I know, since I do run a fur meat group in New Jersey called Bergen County, I get a little DM in my inbox, an invite to a chat. I ask what's going on in this chat, and they're like, we're doing a convention, you in? And I'm like, hell yeah, I'm in. So, 3 New Jersey-based groups, mine, Pine Furs, and Anfro Outdoor Adventures, with the help of Muscle from Furgeddaboutit in the First State, we all come together to give GSFTW the fuck of you. And you know what? We gave them a big and fun fuck of you. We killed them on Friday. Alright, so that's the background. That's how I got involved into it. Let's get to the pictures. I said, let's get to the pictures. So yeah, day 0, since, I'm on staff, so I gotta come down a little earlier to help set up. And if you're wondering what I was doing, at first in the project I was just kind of like a floater, but then I got encouraged to help out with the programming department, and that's where I ended up, the programming department. And very fun experience. The whole convention, I'm getting ahead of myself, but the whole convention staff, you guys are fucking awesome. I want to work with you again next year. Hey there, Alpine. Welcome on in. So this is my my local train station. I started my journey Thursday afternoon, and yeah. Luckily for me, the engineers won't be doing their strike until the 15th, so that helped. And yeah, basically, I got lucky because I was able to get a Super Express train, and I got to my destination about an hour. Although if NJ Transit was on time, I probably would have been able to get here in like 45 minutes. But, I didn't take much photos of this because, like I said, I had a whole bunch of bags. And, it was a crowded rush hour train. But, like I said, I meet up with my friend who's willing to take me down to the convention. And after some antics with his truck, we switched to his Scion, and we got to the hotel. I did take this quick one of the Sky Bridge. You can see a train all the way down here heading for New York. But yeah, it was a pretty busy rush hour train. A lot of people got off at the stop. So yeah, get to the hotel, and yeah, it was the DoubleTree in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. And I'd say probably the strongest part of this hotel was the fact that all of the rooms, I mean, there were some rooms that had, views of the parking lot and the outside, but most of the rooms were either in 1 or 2 courtyards. And this was my room. I had the courtyard, and this is the conference center where things took place. And if you haven't seen the viral TikToks, let's just say we were sharing this hotel with a wedding party and I believe a bunch of high school sports teams. And the high school sports teams, they tried to prank us with emails, but we ignored them. And then the wedding party, oh boy. I mean, according to the comments on that TikTok, the father of the bride liked us, but Let's just say the wedding party was misbehaving more than the furries. The gasp. So yeah, just another angle of the courtyard. And then after that, there was a night zero social at Miller's Ale House. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that. So unfortunately, probably one of the only downsides with this neighborhood is it's very sprawly. I mean, I was lucky to find a legitimate crosswalk a few doors past the hotel that I was able to use to get across the street, but yeah, you really need a car for this, and it's pretty far away from most transit. But like I said, this convention was put together in like 5 months, so yeah, you work with what you can get with. Yeah, sunset. Walked over to Miller's. There we go. There we go. The sun going down. Flags billowing in the breeze. Alright, so I get to Miller's, and like I said, it was a night zero social. Although, unfortunately, by the time I got here, there were still furs around. It's just, I think a lot of them pretty much came, had dinner, maybe did a little suiting, and then left. But you know, my focus at the moment was just getting some food, so I just went to the bar, placed an order, got some cider. I love my hard ciders. I got myself a cheesesteak. Wasn't bad for what it was. Then I met up with one of my mods from Furgeddaboutit County, Zane. He had the boy with him. Then I forget whose head this is. I gotta find that out. Not only Bird, but Rito Bird. Oh yeah, there's there's Zane's custom plush. We call him Goob. Usually he gets into antics like this. But yeah, Zane and Kyron left, so I just accompanied them first to their Wawa trip, grabbed myself some water, doubled my money on a scratch-off card. It's $20, you know, no big jackpots. Although that'd be hilarious if I got a big jackpot. And then, you know, saw this funny handwritten sign. Get back to the hotel. One of the elevators had the mysterious 4th floor. Although that could have just been a leftover from the factory. I don't know. Ah. Now, I mean, the hotel's condition, I would say, was pretty good. I mean, there was a renovation, I guess, in like the 2010s or something, or in the last few years, and whatever scuffiness was kept to a minimum for the most part. Although, unfortunately, the parking lot, not only was there, like, pothole repavement, there were these damn shipping containers in the back, and yes, it gave us a headache for the entire weekend. But yeah, welcome to the back rooms of containers. Alright, well, I meet up with Ricky, the head of Pine Furs, very dear friend. And they want to, him and the other person that drove me over, they want to get some food. So, what do you know? Miller's round 2. So, you know, since I had food before, I just started, you know, chowing down on bar coke and mozzarella sticks. And while we're eating, Ricky asked me, "Is that Distal?" Then I look, I'm not sure, and I'm like, "Oh, I see the possum head, we got Distal." So, we waved them over. You know, we did a little chatting, mostly Reiki, since, you know, they're part of the hospitality department, and, you know, they're more in communication with either, like, guests of honor or, like, you know, quote-unquote VIPs. And while this is going on, yeah, the possum head is judging me for the Coke and mozzarella sticks. Hilarious. Of course, since we're on the other side of the river from Philly, gotta have that fanatic representation. So after that, pretty much instead of doing the last minute convention setup at 5 in the morning, a lot of people elected to do it at 11, 12 at night. So, we get in, just start setting up. And, oh yeah, that was some of the screens on the banquet rooms had, these weird blue screens of death. Okay, maybe not blue screen of death, it's just more of a, we got nothing on them. But yeah, we spent maybe 2 hours trying to get everything set up. Mostly what I was helping with was to set up the FurCon AI setup. Although a lot of it had to be done remote by the system's owner, Callie. Especially since there were a bunch of old Anthro Ohio pics on that computer that had to be uploaded. But, a couple of shenanigans later, and we did get FurCon AI set up. And if you go back to the beginning set of, Forget About It, you get to see me IRL goofing off on the camera. That was one of the signs we had in registration. Like I said, shout out to Blind Wolf. They were freaking awesome with helping out with stuff, either the website or graphic design or any of that. 10 out of 10. So yeah, it was around, I think 1 in the morning. We got the FurCon AI set up. We got our Firewatch sign prop assembled. And there was really nothing left to do except try to get whatever little sleep we could and wake up next morning. So of course I brought this little stinker along, because, why wouldn't I? Although this time he didn't have any Pokeballs try to catch me, so I on his behavior. Alright, so I maybe got 3 hours of sleep, and yeah, this is daybreak, so get up. And because I heard that the hotel restaurant was kind of expensive, I decided to get some stuff at ShopRite, to save some money. So woke up, grabbed some in-room coffee, some fruit bars, showered. Of course I showered. You better fucking shower. And, went down to the convention space. Another view of the hotel. A painting that was crooked on the wall. Little view of the entrance to the events area. And yeah. Excuse me. Here's our famous prop. Our fire risk sign. With this lovely drawn map of our dealer's den. Now, like I said, this was a small place, so we really couldn't fit a lot of vendors in, but this was the dealer's den on Friday, and let's just say because, GSFTW was dead, we basically told their vendors, hey, you actually want to sell stuff? Get your butts over here to Forget About It, and I'll get to more of that later. Also, note for later, yes, the hallways in the events area, death marble. So, there was supposed to be an all-hands-on-deck staff meeting at 7:30. It wasn't mandatory, but, if you're around, you might as well show up for it. But that didn't happen, so instead I just talked to the registration director. I'm like, y'all need anything over at the reg desk? And it's like, yeah, sure, just deal with this pile of lanyard spaghetti. So, you know, spent a few minutes with that. Then probably like a bunch of other little odd jobs until opening ceremonies. Alright, there's Zane 2.0. Oh, no. No. Back up. That's 1.0. I'm sorry. And then that was just a pick of, you know, how it's just to register in minors. And then, like I said, this whole weekend was Sopranos memes up the ass, and I loved it. So here we are. We got Saint Gabagool here. And yes, we even had a Gabagool. There was a room party that had Gabagool. Unfortunately, I was busy with something else, but from what I heard, the Gabagool got exhausted quickly. For shame. Next year, you gotta bring more. Okay, so here we are. It's a little closer to opening ceremonies. People are showing up, getting in line, and the fun begins. Grab myself a suit pick, and of course, as you can see in the left, there's the Furcon AI. So that would have been funny if somebody slapped the red button there. All right, here we are, opening ceremonies. Here we are. This is Osiris. He runs Amphro Outdoor Adventures, and because Bang, the technically second head honcho from Philadelphia, was in France, basically Osiris became the face of the convention for the weekend. And like I said, he's quite the entertainer if you see him in person. So with opening ceremonies done, I head over to the secondary room, and pretty much the way I penned in my schedule, I was pretty much setting up for panels for mostly the whole day. You know, it was fun, pretty straightforward. And yeah, that's what I basically did. So first thing on the agenda was a meet and greet for my group, Furry County. And, you know, I got some people show up, and we basically turned it into, like, an IRL group chat session. Pretty fun. And, heck, I got extra time because the panelists after me, they were MIA. Don't know why, don't know how, but whatever. More time for my group. Hold on. Check something. Okay. Yeah, on a side note, I'm looking around for other jobs, so let's see how that goes. Alright, so we got secondary, did the Fergan meet. And then this was a project from one of my other mods, Soot. Unfortunately, he couldn't attend Forget About It, but he contributed in his own little way. And his way was, he's currently running his own version of a New Jersey State Furry Discord that has nothing to do with the owner of the other one, because back to the GSFTW stuff, the owner of NJ Furs Shy, he's another friend of Dash Ass, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Although, I would be impressed if anybody could trip the QR code with this resolution. Probably not, because it looks like a modern art painting at this compression. But yeah, the mission was successful. We got quite a few new people into the server, I'll say that. And I guess if anybody here in chat wants in, just let me know and I'll send you the link over. This is Chesterbrook the Duchy, suited by Arid, which, finally, after like, what, 2 years, I finally get to meet this guy? Took me long enough. But that's pretty much a common theme with this convention, meeting a lot of people that, I've chatted with online, just never had the time to see him in person, because, we're all in different areas of this northeast megalopolis corridor region thingy we live in. But yeah, and then this was the setup for the watercolor painting, and yeah, that's the beauty with furry conventions. I think the first thing I learned is, if people are going to start a riot, just give them paper and drawing supplies and a place to sit, and yeah, problem solved. This watercolor painting panel looked pretty cool. A lot of people showed up and were just, relaxing. That's the thing I want to push for next year. Just like a dedicated, at bare minimum, like a zoo room. Because unfortunately, because of the wedding party, our options were limited, and we may or may not have outgrown this hotel already. But that's another topic for later in the video. And then, with the watercolor panel set up, I just, I sneak over into main events, and, Osiris and Reki are doing a comedy routine called How to Speak Jersey, and I don't know if there are any recordings of it, but, oh my god, these two are funny. I'm just gonna say that. And then later in the afternoon, this was our other guest of honor, Jay the Griffin. And I got photos of it later, but you all probably know him from his K fire truck he loves to bring to conventions. But right now, what he was doing was pretty much just a panel where, he was talking about his experiences in the airline industry. Pilots, misbehaving passengers causing him to land in Cleveland or something, that kind of stuff. Pretty interesting. And then, I did wander the con a little bit. And this was for the car show that comes Saturday, and back when I took this photo, I'm like, please don't rain out, please don't rain out, please don't rain out. And it didn't. Got a Graham. Another one I finally get to meet in person. Yeah, I pretty much met all the railroad furries in person for once. Alright, and then this was Ultimate Werewolf. Although I'm gonna make a note for next year, this event needed a full 2 hours, because trying to set up a werewolf game with all these people, it took a while. And as much as I would have suggested to my boss to just, push the schedule back like a half hour or an hour or something, there was an improv thing that was about to happen in this room. And that improv thing was an 18-plus dealer's den. So, unfortunately, I did what I could, and basically, me and the rest of the programming crew agreed that we would let them go till 6:30, and then we'd unfortunately have to pull the plug. But, for next year, since, a lot of people came to this, I'm gonna make sure they get their full 2 hours, and possibly then some. And then there was some art from the, panel was this in main events? The sketchbook swap. Yeah, this was some art I saw from the sketchbook swap. I guess somebody passed out like diner checks and people are starting to doodle on them. Got some close-ups on it. But yeah, there was some stray artwork that I did pick up for myself instead of letting it go to the garbage. Unfortunately, I didn't claim these. I just took photos of them. And once again, more Soprano memes, because our artist team, they were fucking awesome for this. Like, literally, they're creative, they're good at art, and not only that, they were able to basically handle our I got an idea, draw this, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm up for the challenge. So yeah, this is Ashley, our mascot. Obviously they're a Phoenix bird, and I love the humor we were doing this whole weekend. I mean, we weren't taking ourselves too seriously. Basically we were just being a bunch of Nazis with fun and laughter. It worked, because, like I said, photos were coming in left and right on Twitter and Blue Sky. GSFTW was empty. There was no one there. And I'm like, you already killed them on day one. Man, it was very euphoric. Let's just say that. Let's see. And then, okay, this happened on Thursday night. But on Thursday night, the cops were called for the wedding party. So that was misbehavior 1. And on this day, Friday, misbehaving event number 2. Basically the hotel bar had to close early because the wedding party took over the hotel bar. They got stupidly drunk, and then, they started barfing ragu into the toilets. Yeah, I saw photos of the barf. It was gross, but damn, were they misbehaving. Alright. So yeah, I just kept wandering, getting pics of more suitors and stuff. Meeting people that I knew from the group chats, just never saw in person. Yeah, we got ourselves a fauna. And yeah, I tried to edit the photo to make it look better, because I don't know what the hell happened, but I think the all-white color scheme of the floor and the marble threw my cell phone camera off. Don't play with the white balance, but, I like to respect the suitor's time. So yeah, this is Jay's K-Fire truck if you've never seen it. It's a hit whatever place he brings it to. And yeah, a lot of furs just spent the whole weekend posing at it. This photo's hilarious. You got the inflatable balloon dog, and then you just got Dumont over here being like, huh? Dumont's awesome, especially when he gets to billow his capes in the wind. Alright, a little blurry, but another set of suitors getting onto the K truck. And then Jay just driving them around the hotel perimeter. But yeah, Friday, sunset. And yeah, like I said, even though the days were long, it was worth it. Also, shout out to my programming boss, Kaisi, for keeping us well supplied with food. Much thanks. So I'm walking around the hotel, and I see this sign that fell off. Nothing malicious, it didn't look like. It just looked like the glue just gave way from the wall. And yeah, there was a Hilton Honors, a line you could text to, but that was poorly monitored. It took forever. Yep, there's the where it was on the wall. But yeah, I'm just browsing around, throwing some business cards down, seeing what else is there. Oh yeah, this was the person that did the unconventional sonus panel. And yeah, this is one of the people from Furgeddaboutit County, and holy shit, they were floofy. Like, damn, look at this floof. But yeah, no, it was nice meeting them also. So I think pretty much by this point in the evening, Um, yeah, I'm sure it was more toasty than the usual fursuit in there. And unfortunately, I didn't get their other fursuit, but they also have a kimono suit, which, damn, like I said, I tried to get Abby to come to this, but unfortunately, between FWA and, moving and stuff, it wasn't in the cards. But I'll get Shorko there next year. Hell, if I had a car, I would have just I would have driven my ass to Philly, and I would have gotten those 3 and brought them back here. Like a little get over here. I kid. But yeah, generally the climate control, most of the time it worked. Some of the time the hotel misunderstood the assignment and, turned up the heat on our fire themed convention. And I think there was one time that secondary really wasn't working, but that eventually got solved. So I just quickly popped into karaoke. Yeah, like I said, I think at this point, there were like maybe 250 to 350 people that were on the premises. Then yeah, so I did a quick little browsing in the night market. I think there might have been some stuff that was interesting. I know it's a magic wand for sale, but let's just say I really didn't do anything with the dealer's den because I didn't want my wallet to get angry at me. Let's just say that. Yeah, here's the courtyard, and I'm gonna zoom in. This was the room that had the Gabagool party and Tony Soprano cutout, which you'll see a better version of it when I show the charity auction. No, this was a nice courtyard. One of the probably best features of this hotel. Alright, so that was pretty much day one. I had dinner in my room since, I was eating the supplies I got from ShopRite. And then, yeah, this is day two. Pretty much the way I scheduled things was I didn't have any panels that I was directly responsible for turning on Saturday. But, of course, I was still, tuned into the programming chat comms in case, anybody needed something. I could just quickly swoop in and help. So on Saturday, we had a little update. Some more vendors came, so we had to update the map. And originally, the plan was we would have had to wrap up Dealer's Den at 2 p.m. because the room they were in, the wedding party was going to take control of it. But let's just say on Saturday, we did another last-minute modification, and we got those vendors into secondary for a few more hours, which, the vendors were glad for. Now, unfortunately, well, if you browse Forget About It on TikTok, you'll probably see a TikTok where water is dripping from the ceiling, and you'll see somebody just standing there and staring at it. That was me. You wanna know what I was doing? I was basically a human-sized wet floor sign because, spoilers, these fursuiters could not see that dinky little tiny wet floor sign. So I'm like, you know what? Somebody's got to do something. I'm just gonna stand here. They can see my 5'7" girth, and yeah. When I explained it to a few people, they're like, that makes sense. Carry on. But yeah, eventually, I think maybe like about hour and a half after it was first reported, one of the hotel staff did show up and fix it, but in the meantime, it went from drip, drip, drip to drip, 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 and I'm like, oh no, please not Katsukan. Please not Katsukan. Because for those of you who don't know, Katsukan had a major pipe burst, and it went all over the Artist Alley people. Ugh. And as far as I know, it was gray water, but not sewage. Hey, Reiki, welcome on in. This is the Reiki I was talking about earlier. Wonderful bean, and thank you for the follow. So if you're wondering, I'm just talking about Saturday. I just got done talking about being a giant wet floor sign. And I've got some more pics of various suitors. Like, for example, the fox that was doing the watercolor panel the other day. What a beautiful color scheme on this scene. Come on in, take a seat, relax, and go work through these photos. Yeah, this was what the main hallway looked like. And yeah, I was going to bring different cameras to this event, but I was already on max capacity with luggage, so maybe next year I'll bring my film camera and then give unique photos some fun stuff to develop. And then yeah, these were a few that Zane wanted me to take in front of the fire risk sign, which, let's just say during the water dripping, we obviously turned the hazard down to, well, it was moderate because the way this thing was screwed in, I don't think it would have went all the way down to low, but water at my fire convention? What is this madness? We got that. Then yeah, here we are, the charity auction table. Which, this was just a fraction of the stuff that was there, but, you know, we got some crochet plushies, other plushies, paws, a fire hydrant that was signed by various convention staff. Quick little photo I just shot out the window. And yeah, I probably did help refill the hydration stations quite a few. Though unfortunately, the water fountain we had access to could have used a little more flow pressure. Wait, how bad is the lag? Or are you talking about when the Windows Photo Viewer loads up a new scene? Let's see. No dropped frames. Like, I'm still pretty good on internet. Alright, I'll just have to keep an eye on that. Yeah, unfortunately, these photos are quite a few megabytes each, so the Windows Photo Viewer. Hey there, Roar. Welcome on in. Okay, that one's smooth. And then yeah, these were somebody's like arm sleeves I just turned into Lost and Found. Yeah, our Lost and Found was basically this closet off to the side of the main entrance. And as far as I know, since I didn't see these on Sunday, I think they did get reunited with their owner. There's our sticker board, one of the charity auction items. Yeah, I got ourselves a lot of stickers. That was, somebody was messing around with a Polaroid, and I think either they dropped it or something, but yeah, it got added to the sticker board. Alright, so I went back out to the courtyard, and yeah, the courtyard was coming alive with people just having fun out here. In fact, this was about the time where the viral TikTok happened. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's basically the wedding party was on this side of the courtyard behind the bushes and the water features. And then we were over on this side, and it's pretty much just a quick pan shot. But yeah, before the account got privated, that went viral. I don't remember the stats on it, but it was viral, and basically people were like, you know, talking about it. Heck, even a bunch of our normie friends were commenting on it. But yeah, we did see the wedding procession. Not the ceremony, but the bride and her party did pass through the con space, and of course we gave them a celebratory applause. And as it said in the comments, the father of the bride actually liked us, so cool. More shots of the courtyard. Like I said, I'm more the type where I just point the camera, take candids, see what happens. Got a Protogen. Though unfortunately, yeah, the sun kind of drained out the visor, which sucks, but so cute. Fluffy tail. They got a little fluffy tail. But yeah, the suitor pics, I'm gonna upload them to Furtrack probably within the next few days, and I get to play the game of scavenger hunt, which is basically making sure I try to tag as many untagged photos as I can. I'll get to that soon. Oh yeah, heck, even Fender made an appearance since Cooper Tom was at the convention. And as I joked with this photo, this is Fender looking for new employment after Fur Affinity's crash left him jobless. True, but can we talk about how my fellow programming staff killed it also? Oh, man, I know Kaisi is going to be working on TFS since that's her home group. But man, I hope we can get the others back for next year. Yeah, no, I'm glad I was able to prove my work since outside of Reiki and Osiris, I was pretty much a complete unknown. Well, I would be more than glad to have her back. Val, he's awesome too. But yeah, the things you can do when we're fighting a common idiocy. Got more Fender. Like even got a Kevin Universe. But yeah, like I said, a lot of people. I did manage to talk to a lot of yous, but if I kind of walked past you a lot of times, yeah, either I was busy or my social batteries were dead. So nothing personal. Beautiful paper whites that were blooming outside. It was such a beautiful day. Even though there were clouds in the sky, it was like nice. Oh yeah, there's the World of Warcraft quest giver. I'm like, I have plenty of quests to do today, so I am satisfied. More courtyard shots. That's pretty much what most of this segment's going to be. May or may not be, though. Probably first year regardless. But yeah, I was gonna get to this later, but as we posted on the website, pretty much the long-term plan for Ferg is for Furrydelphia and TFS to divest themselves from the event, establish a Forget About LLC, establish a New Jersey-based board, and establish a New Jersey-based chair. So it will be a truly New Jersey event. Or to quote NJ 101.5, not New York, not Philadelphia, proud to be New Jersey. But that's gonna happen like within the next few weeks of this stream, and you know, I'm hopeful for the future. At least it beats being pessimistic. Anyway, more courtyard shots. That's a oh yeah, I remember seeing them. They had a big old tail. Got some more candids. And then I went back to the falls entrance to see, you know, just people relaxing in the shade. Back to the courtyard. Then it'll come up in a few images, but somebody brought a giant beach ball and pretty much did this just improv game of beach ball. Yep, clouds in the sky, but still look beautiful. Another candid shot. More candid shots. There's another person that left their card on the tables. Oh yeah, they even had a poster for the Gabagool party. More Gabagool next year. At 7 p.m. to Alright, the Wee Woo Mobile parked in a spot. But yeah, since I didn't have to deal with a car, I really wasn't paying attention to the parking situation, although from what I heard, it got pretty snug in there. It's another wide view. Oh, did I miss? No, I did not miss anything. I actually grabbed myself an Astro. I hadn't seen them since Too Many Games a few years ago. But yeah, as you see by this point, pretty much the dealer's den was vacated, and you know, we were getting ready to move them into secondary for a few more hours. And here is the ball game I was talking about. I just left the whole sequence in, so I'm just gonna tap, 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 and you'll just see it moving. All right, here we go. Okay, no, that's just the way the camera focused. Yeah, I had this in my fisheye lens, so the edges do look a little blurred. I gotta get a legit DSLR one of these days. Yeah, this was fun. The only downside to this lawn, unfortunately, there apparently were some ticks that were getting in suitors' fur and stuff, but you know, we just had to work around it. Just, you know, remind the attendees, just, you know, check themselves for ticks. And as one of the staff joked, we should have brought the front line. Loading up the ball again, up in the air, and this was great. Just sitting around, relaxing, eating Wawa tuna, watching everyone have fun. We just couldn't stop winning that weekend. Oh, I think it might have went off screen. And then, okay, people started sticking their heads right on the light poles. And heck, I even saw night photos where, you know, their fursuit heads were literally like jack-o'-lanterns. It was hilarious. Yeah, another crowd shot. Yep, so they played for quite a bit. On the courtyard. Even grabbed pics of this one suitor by the water. I love that pond. Probably. Okay, it's no Japanese garden from Toho Fest, but it was still very well landscaped. But yeah, like I said, every convention facility needs an outdoor area for this kind of stuff. And let's see, more of the balls. Excuse me. Yeah, I grabbed a few photos of this cat suit. It's so fluffy. Yeah, just some more cards being dropped around. Yeah, the ball game still kept going. I just kind of wish the sewer grate wasn't right in the middle of their stuff, but that's just the way the property is. Went over to another queue. Even got a Xeno. It was nice meeting them for the first time in person. More crowd shots. Got ourselves a distal. Yeah, no, I didn't get chomped, unfortunately. Although, oh, there's this one Xeno pose on Blue Sky that's hilarious. Yeah, the ball still kept flying. even rolled out of the circle. Brought back in. Alright, so basically at this point... Oh, yeah. That they were... Yeah, I showed off the photo of the possum head judging me at the bar earlier in the stream. That was hilarious. So at this point, we did have an all-hands-on-deck programming activity, which was the fursuit photo. And basically, we were trying to figure out a few last-minute questions, like, where in the courtyard was this going to take place? Who's the photographer? What camera were we using? So I kind of quickly ran up to my room, since I had a balcony overlooking the courtyard, and this was just some photos for information, just in case we had to use my balcony. And then this is from a public balcony on the second floor. And then the sign that fell off the night before, I guess they did a new glue job, and they just... Something I would obviously do is just put masking tape up and hold it in place. That was funny. More cars out back. Okay, so we did decide where in the courtyard this photo was going to be taken. We're going to use another person's second floor balcony for it. We're going to use Kaito's, I forget what iPhone they had, but it was probably the fanciest phone camera out of the four of us. Yeah, I had no DSLR on me. And there's Jeffro. Didn't talk to them, but I know them from the Pennsylvania server. Alright, so I think people... There was also another fursuit group photo going on, but... Once, that was over, we just had a bunch of white towels, and we were able to, basically herd the puppies into position. In fact, this is the group photo from my POV. Obviously, they were directed to look, up at the balcony, and I'll show the final result. It came out fucking good. So good, it's my desktop background now, and I'll explain why later. So with that over, the next major event was the car show, and had a sign for the car show. We basically repurposed, I think it was a dealer's den sign or something, and the wind was knocking it over, and I'm like, okay, the rocks at the base aren't doing, it's a sail. Wait a minute. And then I think, like, me and Kaisi were kind of, like, heading for the same solution at the same time. It's like, no, we have to make a counterweight here, and that actually worked. So, we got somebody gave us gaffer's tape. I think it was on one of the AV crew or something. Props to the AV crew. Props to all the crews. I'm just gonna keep saying that. Like, I get people are gonna tell me how awesome I am, but I'm gonna be like, no. I gotta highlight these people.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is...
Yeah, car meet. And don't worry, that's gonna be the next sequence of photos here. And then, oh yeah, we were using some of the pronoun stickers to fix the car meet to the sign. Hold on. This one's not a bad song, it's just, it's not good when I'm trying to talk. Yeah, I did not sink a lot of money into Dealer's Den. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're back. But yeah, no, the sign held as far as I knew. So here we go. The big attraction of Saturday afternoon, the car show. And of course, the furries brought out the cars in force. We got a Miata. We got this thing. We got that thing. Dunbrian needs to learn his cars better. Yeah, nah, I mean... No, the energy was great, everyone was having fun, and... we kept staring at the sky, it didn't pour. Which was good. Nissan... But yeah, we were unsure if we were going to be able to pull this off because of the construction, but... we're able to. But yeah, best thing about furry car shows, you just have random fur heads all over the vehicles. Eh. And then... Okay, so basically one of our other people that showed up and was on staff and was helping out was Mr. Regular from Regular Car Reviews. And of course, because this is a furry car show, he was wandering around gathering content for a video, which I have it in my my tabs, I just gotta get around to it. Also, when the water situation was happening, he was the one that, took care of the garbage bag that was filling with water, so I guess I get to tell everyone, Mr. Regular helped me with a leak. Yeah, this was awesome. Fortunately, I don't know if it was this car or another one, but regrettably, somebody did hit and run one of these cars out back, and like 2,000 in damage, which sucks. But probably that, and maybe like one or two other things. There wasn't like some major apocalyptic incident, just like kind of some lesser stupid stuff. Not that $2,000 in damage is less, but you know what I mean. Just kept browsing. I did take a few videos, which I'll try to upload them to YouTube later. Unfortunately, that one I may have to edit because, spoilers, there was copyright music blasting in the background. And here is a swamp in the back of the hotel, and there's Interstate 295. Yeah, the part of town we were in was sandwiched between 295 and the Turnpike. So, I mean, there were some eating options within walking distance, but not many. Just like Miller's, a Starbucks, and apparently this very good Middle Eastern place that was in a gas station. But I think they might have been closed for renovations at the time. So yeah, this is from the hill. You know, there were a few rooms that had their doors open. A bunch of people in this balcony. Heck, Jay even tried to use the ladder he has for the K truck to try to get to the second floor. They almost got there, but public safety, you know, correctly was like, yeah, let's not go there. So, yeah, they had to take the ladder down. Another view of the rooms facing the parking lot. And, you know, the sun was getting late in the day. There were clouds, but it all held up. And somebody left a cute plushie in their car. Oh, yeah, and then just random Graham head just on the mirror. And yeah, somebody brought a Porsche. So yeah, that was the first thing I noticed. Unfortunately, it's like, damn, that rusting. No, I mean, the Furry Car Show, it was a very, very smash hit. So much of a smash hit that it may get bigger next year, it may not. We just gotta figure out, you know, does this go beyond the scope of the convention? That's all I'm gonna say. You know, a lot of workshopping and development. Yeah, there's Cooper Tom's VW van. And then, yeah, Jay had his Moto Compacto, which, for those of you who don't know, Honda literally made a scooter that you can transport like a suitcase. You know, Zane has one, Kyron has one, and heck, when I asked Jay, it's like, okay, so, where's Zane and Kyron with theirs? And he told me they didn't bring theirs. And I'm like, no. It's hilarious watching people ride this thing. Yeah, that's what it looks like when everything's folded up. There's the carrying handle. Some more pics on the side. Oh yeah, and then this is one of the vehicles in the car show, and it made quite a splash. Alright, got the back of the truck. Another suit head on the engine block. More views. But yeah, since I was walking around, I probably am in that regular cars video. I just gotta go find myself. You know, look, Gary, there I am. These were not part of the car show. This was just random parts of the parking lot I took. This was the car show. At least this is like the back edge of it. Or the swamp. Uh, two random lamps that I think were from the event's entrance randomly ended up there. Though it looks like they were there for a while, so. Or a cigarette. Oh, I see. It's like two. That's like an extra one, and then. God, I love fursuit props. They're hilarious. Another view of the car show. This one had their head on a table, and that was funny. Or the clouds. And another hilarious twist. This person was one of the people that unfortunately got swept up in GSFTW's Fox News segment. And I just find it funny because, yeah, we poached all the non-Nazi people that were involved with GSFTW. Nice pics with the front. Yeah, this was great. And then, yeah, Cooper Tom was taking photos in the upper part of the camper and was working their way down. Plague Doctor. And then I noticed, basically it was wheelchair versus car. This was hilarious. You know, a few donuts from the wheelchair, and then just, you know, grabbing more overall shots of the scene. And then we got a Chiron driving the Moto Compacto. Hilarious as always. They're just going around the parking lot. Like I said, they're a very zippy little vehicle. I followed them on Blue Sky, managed to grab a pic of them. Some more cars, including the Kaisi Mobile. Was just some random piece of garbage, and you know, if you know me, I like taking random photos of garbage on the floor. Just make a whole series of that one these days. I probably have like 15 plus years worth of it. And then yeah, somebody was setting up a tent with the Distal Mobile. Don't know if it's called that, but I'm calling it that. Got it back of the camper, and if you don't mind, I'm just gonna give myself a little hydrate. Nice seltzer. That's good. Yeah, if any of you haven't hydrated yet, take a moment, get some hydrate. Okay. Almost to the end of the car show sequence. Then I didn't take a photo of the sign itself, but I think it's like American Fire Truck, or no. No, I don't remember. All I remember, the punchline here was like Japanese fire truck, and you know, it was like one of the excited Wojaks. Another person on the Moto Compacto. And, you know, But yeah, you know, in between all of this, you know, I was just chatting up more people that I hadn't met in person yet. Talking about the New York furry community. It went pretty well. And yeah, we've got more wheelchair antics. Heck, if you look at Mr. Regular's Blue Sky, one of the people managed to push that wheelchair with the Moto Compacto. And I'm like, oh hey, Moto Compacto DLC. Alright, there's Distal and Castles and Collies. The Pos is still judging me. I'm getting that Pos stink eye. So yeah, we got more of the wheelchair. We got more of my boss. And yep, over here. Yep, we got more Mr. Regular doing stuff for his video. Like I said, this car show had to be like, I'd say probably the car show, the How to Talk Jersey, and there's probably another panel I can slot into it as like the trio of like awesome panels in this place. But so we'll get to Sunday, because I'm gonna have to rant a little bit about Sunday. Nothing the con staff did, just a certain banquet manager. We'll get to that. Yeah, more wheelchair fun. Oh, I got Jay's backside into my collection. Some more, yes, business cards. And then pretty much I just wrapped up the evening, talking about New York furries, and then Zane and another person were just doing an improv concert when the show closed out. I did grab a video of that, so I'll try to post it. And then yeah, the car show was wrapped up, and pretty much to the night. And I didn't really do a lot during the evening. I was tired. I hung out with some people in my room, but it was just more low key because I was wiped. I mean, I did grab a few suits. Beauty. Some more of the courtyard, and yeah, Gabagool party over here was in full swing. And the weather was perfect for this con. I mean, it was warm, but it probably wasn't like Anthrocon levels of warm. But yeah, hung out with the friends in the room, and then, we dismissed for the evening. I quickly popped into the rave, but it was a little warm in there, so I went back to my room. But yeah, this is Tails PPN. They're in Furgeddaboutit County. We used to go to the same college, although at completely different times in history. But yeah, pretty much the nightlife on Saturday was, either room parties, the rave, or whatever vendors were chilling in secondary. So yeah, the RFID receiver for Furcon AI, because recently they put this new gimmick on where they have these stickers with RFID transceivers in them, and the whole point is for suitors to, put them on their character badges, and then when they take a photo of Furcon AI, RFID detects, what suitors that have this, sticker on their badges in the photo, and then basically let their followers know, so you don't have to scroll through like 3,000 images. It Hey, welcome on in, Scary Water Horse. We are currently at the end of Saturday of Forget About It. Got some backrooms elements. Yeah, the hotel, if you're not used to it, it's kind of a pain in the ass to navigate, even though it's just literally like a figure eight. But the more you stay in it, the more you learn the shortcuts and shit. Uh, the sign was up. Okay, so I took a rest. I got up at 8 a.m. I'm showering, eating breakfast. I'm trying to figure out what the F to do with my luggage because honestly, I should have just purchased an extra night in the room, but one, I wasn't exactly used to staying at a con beyond Saturday afternoon, and two, I was being a bit of a cheap ass. Let's just say that. Yeah, you can call me cheap Brian. But it's Sunday morning. I'm waking up, and the next thing I hear on the comms, we're being kicked out of secondary, and I'm like, "Hey yo, what the fuck?" Yeah, there was an effing crisis, and basically, I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but one of the banquet managers, I think they were trying to bend over backwards for the wedding party or do something stupid because the room we had dealers in on Saturday, they had it from like 8 to noon and the wedding party was having breakfast in there. And I don't know why, but this fucking banquet manager basically was trying to pull a breach of contract on us and trying to kick us, out of secondary. Because, first she was like yelling at people, get your shit out of the halls and get it into secondary. And then, next thing we know, she's like, get out of secondary. You're not in there. Your time is up in that room. Ah! And basically, long story short, it did get resolved pretty quickly because, spoilers, once Boss Man woke up and, was like, what the fuck's going on? And he's like, oh. And then, basically just runs right down there, and I didn't see any of this in person, so I'm just dramatizing it. Basically pulls out the contract and is like, objection! And yeah, we shut her up pretty quickly. But yeah, because of that, one of the panels did get nuked in the chaos, but since this was Star Wars Day, to make a Star Wars analogy, Friday and Saturday were episode 6. A new convention rises. Or I'm sorry, episode 4. Duh. Episode 5 was Sunday morning, Revenge of the Hotel. And then episode 6 was the rest of Sunday, the attendees return. But yeah, let's just say that incident left a very, very bad taste in our mouth. So it's gonna be something to think on when we decide on a hotel for next year. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyway, like I said, we did recover. This was the unconventional Sonas panel. It first started off as like a group discussion, and then I just threw a few more tables in there, and then became a drawing panel. That was pretty easy. Yeah, they had their own photographer to grab the group pic, but me being the photo nerd, of course I stepped in and grabbed a few. I send it over to them later. So yeah, my room situation, it got resolved. I was able to store my luggage in the programming room. So a few minutes before 11, I just snuck over and gathered my stuff. As you see, I got myself a king suite, and while I was trying to look for roommates to save a few bucks, all the people that I, would have felt comfortable rooming with, they already had their own rooms. So, it was a little expensive for me, but honestly, I'm kind of glad I had the room to myself. I sort of know how the the cruise ship events director feels on a cruise ship when, you know, they have their suite. But yeah, it was nice. I just wish there were like utensils and junk in the cabinets. That's all I wish. And yeah, this was the bedroom. I mean, I think I did watch a little TV, but the channels were pretty limited on this setup. It's more one of those things where you gotta bring your own streaming passwords and stuff. Wi-Fi, I guess it was hotel Wi-Fi. What did you expect? Yeah, bedroom and the bathroom. Living room area. At least the other good thing was, because I managed to consume most of the food I brought with me, I was able to come out of the convention on a lighter load. One of the attendees, I think they were pulling up for the convention, but the way their dog looked, it looked like the dog just over themselves to the event. I found it funny. And then, you know, I got to look at the charity table. You know, we got the Tony Soprano cutout. We've got the painting that was made in the Watching Paint Dry panel, which unfortunately I was helping out with in secondary, but from what I heard, one, that panel was hilarious, and two, the host managed to sneak in elements of the other panels they tried to submit but got rejected because, you know, spoilers, they had too much panels on their plate. Yeah. But nah, kind of by this point in the day, I was starting to crash hard. There's Fergie. I'll get to that later. One of the in between panel graphics, hilarious. For the charity table. And yeah, there's our charity, Cedar Run Wildlife Refuge. And the sticker board on the final day. This was something completely separate. It was like some silent auction in the lobby or something. Didn't look like there were many takers, though. This was the Pokemon TCG panel, which, in all intents and purposes, basically became a mini Pokemon-themed dealer's den. Now, there were a bunch of trades going on and stuff, but I took this photo, but I was basically in the back. I was just like, you know, arms across the chair in front of me, and just, I had my head down, so I was like, you know, tired, but it was worth it. You know, doing 12 plus hours of Ferg work, less draining than my bowling alley job, but we'll get to that in a minute. Got the sticker. Jay was doing more stuff with his fire truck. But yeah, despite the hiccups in the morning, we recovered pretty well. And then it started to pour. Grab some more suitors. This was the jam session. This still dropped some cards around. A Wawa sticker. Get it? Perfect Pokemon team. Just ignore this one. Somewhere in the jam session. Ah, were you in this photo or just around the room in general? Yeah, like I said, I did listen to bits and pieces of the music, but around the room. Like I said, I was crashing. Like I said, next year when we, you know, we're gonna do a bigger push to call for staff and volunteers earlier, because, like I said, we definitely could use the help. Yeah, there's some protogens in the Pokemon panel. So let me see. I think they might have been there for. Right, they might have been there for the NSFW sketchbook swap. Then, oh yeah. Obviously, shout out to Sunday Confessional. I wish I could have saw more of that, but you know, like I said, we had to deal with the sins of the hotel. Yeah, at this point in the afternoon, the charity table was growing large. And unfortunately, I mean, like I said, I heard, like, I think this bowling pin went for like $300+. Yeah, I would have spectated more of the charity auction, but it was just outside. And then, hey, one of my buddies, Wernimal, showed up, so I managed to grab a few photos of them. You know, happy to see them. Chatted a little bit. Oh yeah, that sucks too. We got ourselves a Zane doing saxophone on the fire truck, with Goob just standing on the pole. I mean, there were still a lot of people around, including ones I didn't realize were going to show up. You know, it was nice to say hi to them. This was another avenue that was raising money for Cedar Run. It was a bubble stand, and as it said, you know, bubbles all over the place with the you know, library music that SpongeBob is known for. And you know, I'm sure it went on for 18 hours. Great. So here we are, closing ceremonies, and that's the representative from Cedar Run that was at the event, Cyrus, and I believe Sasquatch. I believe that's what we call it. Pretty much what happened was there was one final push, and it was pretty much everybody just come up and start throwing money into the jars or start, you know, beeping the credit card reader. And I'll get to the final charity stats in a second, but in like 5 minutes we raised like $1,300 for them, and oh man, I think we almost made the representative cry from, you know, how generous we were being. I mean, Cedar Run, we loved them, they loved us. I think we have our charity partner. Photo of that. And then, yeah, so basically, we raised like $8.2 thousand for them. And we had a final count of 638 attendees, which, if you look at WikiFur for you know, fur conventions, I think that makes us like 75th place or 70. I think it was like 75th place, which is interesting. But yeah, I mean, of course we're gonna, you know, expect fur to grow. You know, probably grow into a nice like spot, like 1,300. You know, probably like you know, you gotta hit that good sweet spot where, you know, a lot of people can attend those small conventions. But then again, like I said, I'm skewed because I've been to New York Comic Con. There's like hundreds of thousands of people. Like, crazy. So yeah, closing ceremonies happened. You know, people started leaving, and we did breakdown, and that was actually pretty easy. It was just mostly Furrydelphia loading items in their truck, and yeah, basically making sure all of our items were out of main and secondary. So I took this photo of secondary. And yeah, Val won the Fox plushie from the charity auction. And did Fergie. I booped it. Cute. But yeah, no, afterwards we just relaxing, having a little not a formal just an informal debrief with some of the staff and but nah, I mean we were all over them. I mean when those stats were announced, we just massive hug piled each other because we fucking won. We won and then some. Because I mean, DSFTW, they're being a bunch of jokers. They seriously think they can do year 3. Nah. All they're doing is pissing their money on a shit bigoted ideology, and you want to waste your money like that? Fine, be that way. I don't care. Because you know why? We got a community that voted with their feet, their dollars, and their time. They wanted a space where we don't care who they are or what they are. We just see friends. Friends of very, different backgrounds. That we can just all come together, have fun, and not bring each other down or treat us like crap. But yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna hold that. So yeah, I still have a lot of new Furzy arts giveaway, which I'm gonna try to give these to like Osiris and Reiki. Yep, that, like I said, we hosted a lot of people that bailed from GSFTW. Vendors, attendees. Like I said, there were still a lot of people that, despite the efforts of me and others to spread the word, like I said, a lot of information gets lost in the hustle and bustle of daily life. So the people that, went to GSFTW and didn't know anything about it, and, once they found out, they're like, oh, hell no. But yeah, no, we welcomed them to Ferg, and we're glad they took the time to come down the turnpike to see us. And yeah, that's it. I gotta give these some of these are gonna go to Pine Furs, some of these are going to AOA, because Soot ordered like 500 business cards. Oh yeah, like I said, the fire started. We're not putting this out, and people can try to snuff us out, but it's not happening. So I did talk a little bit about the future of the con earlier, but just to reiterate, as we have posted on the website, Furgeddaboutit and TFS. Hey, welcome back, Nerp. Furgeddaboutit and TFS, they will divest their personnel and resources from the con. Furgeddaboutit will have a new LLC incorporated for it. There will be a convention board. It will be comprised of all New Jersey-based members. And like I said, I don't know the exact process, but obviously since I run a New Jersey Furmy group, probably a strong chance that I will be able to secure a position on the board, but like I said, I have to see the process. But once the board is secured, we're gonna vote in a New Jersey chairman, and yeah, forget about it. We'll be a New Jersey-based con, by New Jersey for New Jersey. But that's gonna be in the next few weeks, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I had my dad pick me up from the convention. We had some food. And yeah, we just went back to the turnpike, and of course I get to Newark. Newark is cursed. There's fog everywhere, and you want to know what the turnpike smells like nowadays? I shit you not, it literally smells like convention attendees that haven't taken a bath. So, I'll give it to the vast majority of convention attendees. Y'all smelled like you actually, showered and, did your hygiene. But there was this one corner by main events that smelled really rank, like, ugh. And literally when I'm, going up the turnpike past the oil refineries, I'm like, oh no, it smells the same. Uh-oh. I don't know. Not in main events. It was... Okay. If you're looking at main events from... and your back is towards the other side of the hallway, not the doors to your right where people were being let in and out of main events, the set of two closed doors where the water cooler was. There was... I mean, it was almost like a cylinder of stank. That's just in a very odd, specific, and weird position. What else do I have to say? Oh yeah. Hold on. One more photo. That is the final... a lot more high definition than what's on this guy with compression and stuff, but you know what? This is my... You know what? I think somebody could have been chilling there and stanking the place up. So, this is the fursuit group photo. And you know what? I decided to make this my desktop background because previously my desktop background was something a lot more pessimistic. It was a Cold War drawing of what the artists thought New York would look like if, the Soviets nuked Manhattan or something. And you know what? I wanted to replace it with something more positive. You know what this means? You know what this photo means to me? Every time I boot this up, do it for them. Yeah. Like I said, whatever way I help out with Forget About It next year, this is my motivation. Do it for them. Because, like I said, we started something special. We made a convention under some very bizarro circumstances. Damn it, we made it work. And we're not going anywhere anytime soon. I was thinking that was the other meme I had in my head. Yeah, we had 169 fursuiters after manual review. Sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, one of these days I would like to get a salty fursuit, but I don't know. I think honestly, I'm just hoarding my money and either for a rainy day or honestly most of it's just for a rainy day. I don't mean like drip. I mean like the deluge. But maybe one day we'll get first. Or maybe I'll get lucky in a raffle or something. But yeah, with that, that's pretty much my my time at Forget About It. It was, like I said, it was fun, interesting experience. A lot different than the way I've interacted with conventions in the past. And yeah, so pretty much this is probably the part where I'm gonna take a Winnie off. Nice to see you again. Yeah, I passed your pics earlier. So like I said, I'm at the end of my ramblings, and I mean, if any of you got any more questions or like to share your convention experiences, feel free to in the comments, or if you want to see an see another particular photo in the set, just let me know. I'm going to take a 10-minute break. That's a drop frame. I'm going to take a 10-minute break, and usually after recaps, 305. I want to see something. I probably do have an idea for a raid target. I just don't. I gotta double check when they're starting. Looks like afternoonish. Sorry, I'm Alright. Okay, I'm gonna take my 10-minute break. Like I said, everyone, get some snacks, get your hydrate. I will be right back. know what we're gonna do until 4:35. Here we go. You just update the category. Oh, I never fully unpacked from conventions, so let me take some. I'm gonna try something. Sorry about this. You know how it goes. Okay, cool. Alright. So if you've never seen this before, this is just Dorfromantik. It's a pretty chill game where pretty much you're given a bunch of tiles, and it's a puzzle game where you gotta put them together in the right way to. Hold on. What? Don't do this to me. Yeah, I know. I have to upgrade eventually because this thing is from 2017, and although, wait, I think I know what's going on. Let's see if this helps. Maybe. Well, actually, no. Solutions. Okay, let's try that. Shit. It was a little cut off. That's better. But yeah, no, this is from 2017. I really need to upgrade one of these days, but one, I'm cheap. Two, Windows 11. Ugh. What? Alright, so okay, that's how you use it now. But yeah, start with one tile. Good. So I'm covering it, but yeah, you've got. Okay, is this okay? That should do it. Right? That should be. So yeah, I'm covering it, but behind me, I have 40 tiles, and let's just see how this goes. So yeah, some of these are quest tiles where basically if you match stuff up with them, you'll get bonuses and jump. Um, Alright. Hey, do stuff like that, you get more tiles. Don't want those. Yeah. Okay. What? I don't know if this is lagging on your end, but for some reason. Okay, let's try that. Let's see. Collects 330 points from single tile placement. Interesting. Let's just add what's this forest? that's not. It's what our what looks like so far. Let me see. You look out here. No, I don't see any quest time. Okay, I can. That it is relaxing. I can turn down the graphics settings because it may have been like. Like it's holding pretty steady at 30. But yeah, depends on the session, but you know, there's a lot of interesting random biomes that happen. Like got this warmer one, and then all these like colder winter ones. Kind of like spring. Yeah, it shouldn't be too expensive on Steam nowadays. have 9 times. So, let's see what we can do. Guess not bad for someone who hasn't done this in quite a few months. Oh yeah, right. Great. Another round. perfect placements at once. Nice. Right. Interesting map we've got. And I think we have enough time. One more, and then I'm going to right now. On that note, just 4:30, going for almost 3.5 hours. So. Put out this. Get some background music on. All the relevant social stuff there. I honestly don't know when I'm gonna stream next. I only really came back to streaming just mostly for the Forget About It recap, but I don't know. We'll see. But no, I want to thank you all for coming, all for new follows. I guess I'll see you all whenever. Now, time for... I mean, you may not necessarily... Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about, Alpine. Okay, here's the problem with my summer schedule. It's a fucking joke. I am working Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And basically, because of that, like what I had to do with Ferg, I have to take weeks where I get 0 paycheck. So... what I'm thinking is, I'm just thinking of doing one convention for the summer. Yeah, it's the summer season at the bowling alley. And one of my coworkers, they're about to leave. Which, you know, I have no ill will for them. They've been trying to look for a better position for quite a while, and their hunt pays off. But the problem is... my boss, he likes to run a skeleton crew. Like, literally, I was the last person new hire, and that was over a year ago. But in terms of the convention shit, right now it's either a toss-up between Too Many Games, Anthrocon, or Furrydelphia. I would do PersonaCon, Awesome Con, but, Virginia's just too far for me. Like, I'd do it again, but yeah. And honestly, I'm probably leaning more towards Furrydelphia because, one, it's in August. It, you know, gives me some time to, you know, work, get some money back, and, you know, not have to deal with that. What do you mean you're taking time off again? You just took time off. Yeah, I am aware about FD's main hotel being sold out. I might try to room with somebody, or since Abby doesn't live too far away from there, I might try to just shack up at his place, but I have to see. But yeah, I'm leaning towards Furrydelphia because, one, it's in August. Two, it's a lot easier for me to get to than Anthrocon. And three, it's, you know, as much as I love to go to Anthrocon one of these days, Furrydelphia is going to be less of a shit show than Anthrocon. You know, attendance-wise. But yeah, like I said, because of this stupid, oh, I'm still on the weekend schedule. Conventions are up in the air. And also, you know, I found out in March that I got a little nasty surprise, because it turns out I didn't get thrown off the front desk for being mediocre. I just got, you know, put in the kitchen since the mechanic on Monday wasn't in a league anymore. But yeah, I'm getting dragged back to the front desk. That's gonna fucking suck. But enough work rants. I'm trying to look for a new position, but we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, I've got a good raid target for y'all. You got a room a few blocks away from the hotel. Yeah. Yeah, that's the sucky part with these conventions, having to plan this stuff out months in advance. Like, I probably could have asked for some, convention time off when I asked for my time off in March, April, but, I didn't want to get that, what do you mean you're taking all this time off? It's like, yeah, nerd culture is on the weekends. There's no weekday conventions outside of BFLC. Ugh. Maybe that'll change one of these days. But anyway, enough work rants. Got the raid queued up. Thank you all for coming, and I will see you later.